I never imagined my marriage would end in a cardboard box. But that's exactly how it happened. Through a box filled with ugly truths, wrapped in silence, and delivered straight to the people who thought my wife was an angel. When I married Emily, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. She had that kind of smile that could brighten a room, that laugh that made strangers turn their heads, and a way of making everyone feel special. To my family, she was perfect. To her relatives, she was the golden child. And to me, she was my world. For 10 years, I gave everything to that woman. Late nights at work to pay for her dream house, vacations planned down to the smallest detail so she wouldn't lift a finger, surprises on anniversaries, handwritten notes tucked into her purse, flowers on random Tuesdays. She once told her sister that I was too good to be real. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was too good for someone like her. Because while I was building our life brick by brick, she was dismantling it in secret, one lie, one whispered phone call, one business trip at a time. I never suspected Emily of cheating, not once. She was attentive, affectionate, and smart enough to cover her tracks. But one evening, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the counter. A message lit up the screen. Last night was incredible. Same time next week? At first, I laughed to myself, thinking it was a mistake. Wrong number, maybe. Then I saw the contact name. Not some stranger. It was David, a coworker of hers. The same guy she always said was annoying at meetings. My stomach twisted. I opened the thread. Hundreds of messages, photos, inside jokes, plans, her entire double life laid out in emojis and midnight confessions. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't storm into the bathroom. I just sat there scrolling, reading the words of a wife who claimed to love me while telling another man things I thought were mine alone. Over the next few days, I turned into a detective. Every time she left her phone unattended, I gathered evidence. Screenshots, pictures, call logs, emails. I compiled it all into neat little folders on my laptop. But then the rage came. The humiliation. I couldn't just confront her. That felt too easy. Too private. She had made me a fool in secret, but I wanted the truth to be public. If she could betray me behind closed doors, I would expose her in the open. That's when the idea of the box was born. I bought a stack of plain cardboard boxes, envelopes, and memory sticks. On each USB drive, I loaded copies of her texts, emails, and photos with David. I wrote short letters, polite but firm, explaining that Emily, the woman they adored, had been living a lie. I wasn't vulgar. I didn't curse. I just presented the facts with timestamps, screenshots, and proof beyond denial. Then I mailed those boxes to her parents, her siblings, her aunts and uncles, even her grandparents. I made sure each one of her relatives would see the truth. The first explosion came within hours. Emily's mother called while she was at work. I ignored the call, but 5 minutes later, Emily stormed through the door, waving an opened box in her hand. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with panic. "What the hell is this?" she demanded. I didn't answer. I just pointed at the folder on my desk. The one labeled backup copies. She flipped through the papers, her hands shaking, her lips trembling. "You sent this to my family?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Every last one of them." Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing. No pity, no regret. For the first time in years, I wasn't the one who was powerless. The phone rang again, and again. Her brother, her cousin, her father. The walls of our home echoed with the sound of her world collapsing. She sank to the floor sobbing, but all I could think was, good. Feel what I felt. Over the next week, the fallout spread like wildfire. Her parents, devoutly religious, were furious, not just at her, but at me for airing the dirty laundry so publicly. Her father left me a voicemail calling me a vindictive bastard. Her sister, on the other hand, thanked me. She admitted she always suspected Emily wasn't as perfect as she pretended. She even confessed she admired me for exposing the truth. Her grandmother wrote me a letter. Handwritten, shaky cursive. She said she was heartbroken but respected me for having the courage to tell the family. Better to see the truth, no matter how painful, than to live in a lie, she wrote. As for Emily, she tried damage control. She called her relatives one by one, sobbing, spinning excuses, blaming me for being abusive and controlling. But no excuse could erase the words she had typed to David. No amount of crying could make those photos disappear. Of course, her affair with David imploded. Once the boxes went out, I emailed him directly with a copy of everything. His wife, yes, he was married too, got a package of her own. By the end of the week, David was divorced, disgraced, and unemployed after HR got wind of the scandal. Emily screamed at me, saying I had ruined her life. I reminded her she was the one who had thrown it away. I had simply delivered the trash to the curb. The divorce was bitter, as expected. She fought for the house, for money, for sympathy. But the evidence I had collected gave me leverage. Her lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, but the judge saw the truth. She was unfaithful, dishonest, and reckless. In the end, I walked away with most of what mattered. The house. The savings. My dignity. She walked away with shame, whispers behind her back, and a family that looked at her differently forever. Do I regret it? Sometimes in quiet moments I wonder if I went too far. If mailing those boxes was more about revenge than justice. If I could have simply walked away with the evidence and left her to rot in her own guilt. But then I remember the nights I worked overtime while she was in someone else's arms. The birthdays I spent planning surprises while she was sending flirty texts. The lies she told, the promises she broke, the way she smiled in my face while stabbing me in the back. No, I don't regret it. I gave her everything. She gave me betrayal. In return, I gave her the truth. And the truth, once unboxed, cannot be returned. It's been 2 years since the box incident, as her family calls it. I've rebuilt my life. I've dated here and there, but I'm in no rush. For now, I enjoy my peace, my freedom, and the knowledge that I didn't let myself be destroyed in silence. Emily? From what I hear, she's moved to another city. Most of her family still speaks to her, but things aren't the same. Every holiday dinner, every family reunion, she walks into a room knowing they've all seen who she really is. She can never take that back. And me? I learned something invaluable. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger. It isn't violence. It's simply making sure the truth is delivered, neatly packaged, impossible to ignore, and left on every doorstep where lies once lived. Yes. My marriage ended in a cardboard box. But in that box, I finally found closure.